Hi, this is Keith Williams from Goadilo. We're a career management portal that helps people learn about a day in the life of what it's like to do high demand trades and professions. And we use video and storytelling to help people make career decisions. And today I have with me Doug Lehman from Lehman's Terms. Doug, introduce what you do. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Thanks, Keith. Doug Lehman, my business is Lehman's Terms, and I specialize really in social video campaigns for speakers, trainers, entrepreneurs, people in transition, doing simple video production to get noticed, to get the next opportunity. Simple web, green screen video work.
Excellent, excellent. Well, Doug, I've worked with you, known you for a couple of years, and I've seen your work, and it's really compelling work. It's excellent how you leverage video and you use that to network. And the biggest challenge that I think most people are facing now, Doug, is how to pivot into a new career or company. Because as you know, the traditional form of just sending a resume out and going through HR is no longer as effective as it used to be. And we're kind of fortunate with the new tools that we have, such as LinkedIn, social media feeds, which enable us to learn a lot more about companies and the people who are making those decisions. So you still have to, leverage that technology, but you still have to make the call. Nothing happens until you make a call or shoot an email over. So you still have to do a little old school. You still have to shake hands and you still have to make calls. Doug, what has been your experience in terms of helping people or getting into companies yourself?
Well, you made some really valid points in that opening statement. You still have to make those handshakes. You still have to talk to people live. We've got a lot of networking tools, and that's just it, like LinkedIn and social media sites, to do your research, to get in front of people. So on that, yes, my experience is doing your research online, and then trying to find a referral within a targeted company or a contact that you want to be. So leveraging the tools is great. It's research, but it gives you a talking point to talk to the right people.
Excellent. And Doug, when you're reaching out to people, particularly new people, when you're trying to draft, let's say, an email or make a call, how are you positioning yourself? What are you saying? Is it a long email? Are you asking for a job? Give people a sense of the process
Sure.
of what it takes in order to connect with these people.
It's a matter of touch points in the context of the message. Initially, if you don't know the person, you should be in a situation where you write the email, where you're looking for help, you're looking for advice. You're not asking for a job, but you're asking for assistance. And who do you know in the industry? Who could I talk to? And then you want to also craft some value. How can you help that person? Especially if they're a new contact, you've never reached out before, you've got to kind of plant some seeds. So you really want to position as, look, I'm interested in your company. I'm interested in talking to so-and-so. How would I go about doing that? But I really need advice. You really want to play on the advice and not say, hey, I'm interested in your company. How do I get a job? I mean, that doesn't play right now. You've got to be mindful and you got to deliver value to that person. And that takes a little bit of work. You got to have an in.
Yeah, and speaking of work, and I think we touched on it, social media. It seems like we can learn a lot from looking at people on LinkedIn, looking
Sure.
at people on Twitter, their Facebook feeds, and what I've found is that social media tells a nice story about their interests and what they're doing. And I think that is also a great start, because when you're reaching out to somebody and you've shown that you've done some research, you know a little bit about what they do and their interests, kind of goes back to allowing you to understand how you could bring value, which is what you mentioned.
Right. I mean, if you can bring if let's say you're looking for a job, you may not be a candidate, but you may know people, or if you're just trying to get a business opportunity, hey, that person's well connected that I'm talking to. Maybe he or she can help me out. So it's really about building those relationships, taking the online information and bringing it offline.
Excellent.
To bring value. The idea is to get the appointment, to get the initial thing is I'm trying to build rapport and I'm trying to get the interview, or I'm trying to get an appointment with somebody that can help move the process along.
Excellent, excellent. Doug, also, I wonder how making sure that you're targeting the right people makes a difference. So understanding that, can this person make a decision, or am I talking to somebody who's going to put me in touch with someone who can make a decision? So, how important is that in the process in terms of getting you into the company?
It's extremely important. Now, back in the day when we used to let's say apply for a job. We'll leave it at that context here. We'd go online and we'd just go to HR and go into the proverbial black hole of research. Well, as we know, a lot of jobs are created through the hidden job market. So it's important to find the right people. And if you're not talking to the right person, ask who the right person is. And you'll figure it out after a while. I mean, obviously you want to find the decision maker. You want to find the hiring manager. You have to go in the process of talking, let's say, to HR. But it's extremely important. And don't quit if that's the wrong person. Move on. There's other people to engage.
Sure.
There's a lot of people out there. So the thing is, yeah, you want to find the right person, but if you don't find out who that right person is, it's a process.
Yeah, sure. The other thing too that I think is also important, Doug, is self-awareness. If you're applying to a specific job or specific company and role, one of the things that you're going to find with LinkedIn is when you do research, you go on the site, you look up that company, and you look up the people who are working at that company and who may be working in that particular role. We have enough technology that you can see the type of people that are being hired. You can look at their backgrounds. Do they have similar backgrounds as you? Do they have similar experience, education, skills? You're going to notice a pattern. And I think that's just putting in the due diligence and in terms of what's required of you now in order to be effective with your search, Doug.
Absolutely. You can get an idea judging from who's hired there, possibly the culture. Just like going to the website, you should also find out who works there and have those conversations offline as well as online.
Excellent. Another thing too, I might dig a little deeper is I'm going to look at related industries or competitors. Maybe somebody who used to work there versus somebody who works there, because you're going to get different opinions based on an individual's experience. And so it gives you a bigger picture.
And not to cut you off, but that's an excellent point. A lot of people go online and they'll look at the websites that give reviews of companies, and sometimes that's a little jaded. Mm-hmm. But talk to the source, talk to real people, and find out what the cultural fit is. And it's a lot easier that if I'm trying to get into your company, Keith, and I really want to network with Tom, so if I build a rapport with you and say, hey, Tom, I know this guy Doug. He's a good person to talk to. That speaks volumes. So also networking referrals, but talking to the right people to get in, top of mind, to put you above the stack of all the resumes or all the people that are going through HR. Again, going through a targeted contact within the company takes a little bit of time. Takes some research.
Yeah, and I'll touch on the relationship piece. Doug, hiring managers are risk averse. Most companies are risk averse. Now, when they've had a chance to get to know you offline, when there's no pressure of trying to hire you, it allows them to have a talent pipeline. I believe most hiring managers that are good understand the importance of a talent pipeline, because their employees are not guaranteed for life. They're not going to be there in a year from now, 2, 3, 6 months. There's going to be change in their organization. That's constant, which means that they're always looking for talent. So by you building a rapport and a relationship, you're going to start to get to know this hiring manager a little better, and they're going to get to know you a little better. And it mitigates the risk. And if you position it like that, as you're speaking to them, that, hey, I'm not looking for a job, just getting to know you, getting to know the industry, building a relationship, how can I help you? It's going to make it a lot easier for them when the opportunity comes up, because they've already built a relationship with you. They've sort of vetted you if they've got to know you for a few months, and it'll probably speed up the hiring process.
It sure will, and I love everything you said there, because it takes time building that relationship and like you said, being vetted. The other thing is it's about timing. Mm-hmm. If you're building these relationships and the company may not have a position open, next week they might. But you've already put the time in to build a relationship. So a lot of this search process, networking process, it takes work, it takes due diligence, it takes research, but you got to have some luck and timing. So if you don't plant the seeds and build that rapport at a certain process, it's like in sales, you got to build your pipeline. It builds rapport down the road. Then when the timing is ready, it expedites the search process for you.
Definitely.
But it does take time. I can't gauge on the timing of it, but I can put in the work to build that rapport. Excellent. So when the time is right, I jump on it, hopefully.
Excellent. Well, Doug, I think we've really covered this topic well, and I don't think there's much more to say about it other than we recommend that folks jump online, jump on LinkedIn. I would say put together a list of target companies and start going after those companies. Build your own pipeline. So It's not just one company. You want to have a couple options. So any final words? Anything you'd like to put in?
No, just take the conversations online to offline, but build like you said, a targeted list of companies, and then find out who the key players are and network within the company and keep networking. Because if you get more people that can speak on your behalf for that company, then it helps when the opening and the timing is right to execute and get that job. It's the way of the world right now. People are going to hire people they like, know, and trust, and they have a little bit of rapport.
Excellent. Thank you, Doug Lehman from Lehman's Terms, and I'm Keith Williams from Goadilo. Thank you.
Thank you.